Hi, welcome to this video of clay and culture. And today we're going to be learning about ancient Greek pottery. These clay vessels were not only useful for daily life, but they also give us valuable insight into Greek culture, their myths, as well as their rich history. But in this video, we'll focus more on the pottery techniques. So, why did pottery matter? Pottery was used in a plethora of ways in ancient Greece. So large jars called amphorae were used to store oil and wine. Calyxes were wide cups for drinking, and craters were used to mix water and wine at banquets. Every shape had a specific purpose, marking the relevance and just extreme importance of pottery in everyday life. And here I have examples of each of these different styles. So what about storytelling? Greek pottery was also decorated with scenes and told stories. Some showed myths about gods and heroes, while others would show everyday life, like farming, athletics, or battles. These decorations are the main ways historians today learn about ancient Greek society. So getting into the first technique, we have black figure technique. So in black figure technique, artists painted figures using a liquid clay called slip. This slip was created by mixing black clay with water and using it to paint on the vessel. And after firing, the figures appeared black against the reddish clay background. An artist would then scratch details into the black areas, which made the images stand out clearly. So the second technique, we have red figure technique. And in this style, the background was painted with black slip, while the figures were left the natural red color of the clay. And artists could add fine details with a brush, which allowed for more realistic and expressive figures. So this is kind of like the opposite of the other style, where the figures are depicted using the red clay, instead of being depicted through the black slip. So, what was their firing method? So Greek potters, they had a three-stage process. The first stage was oxidizing. The kiln was filled with oxygen, and both the clay and the slip turned a reddish color. The second stage consisted of the oxygen being cut off by closing vents and adding green wood or damp fuel. This smoky atmosphere caused the entire pot, including the slip, to turn black. In the third stage, which is reoxidizing, so oxygen was reintroduced. The unslipped areas of the pot turned back to red, but the slipped areas stayed black because of how the clay particles had fused. So this process is what gave Greek pottery its famous black figure and red figure contrasts. So ancient Greek pottery was practical, artistic, and informative. It shows us how the Greeks lived, what they believed, and how they expressed themselves through art. By learning these techniques and creating your own designs, you'll experience how a simple clay vessel can become both a useful object and a work of art. So, just like the Greeks, you'll be turning pottery into history. Thank you.